So first off, we have to ask the question, what is camera exposure? Well, when capturing photos or videos with digital SLR cameras, like we use in all of our media classes, exposure refers to the amount of light which reaches the camera sensor. There are three ways for your camera to control the amount of light that reaches the camera sensor. One way is shutter speed, another aperture, and a third ISO. These three together make up the idea of the exposure triangle. Shutter speed refers to how long the shutter, which is found inside of the camera's body, is open. Shutter speed is a measurement of time. The longer the shutter is open, the brighter the photograph will be. This is because there's more time to let the light in. Also, the longer the amount of time the shutter is open, the more motion blur you'll have in your photo. Your shutter speed is measured in fractions. Whether your shutter speed is set to 1 second or 1/4000th of a second, you can use these time intervals to your advantage to take aesthetically pleasing photos. Aperture is the opening inside of the camera lens that lets light in. This is determined in a measurement which is referred to as f-stops. F-stop numbers are tricky because they are counterintuitive. The larger the number, the smaller the opening. For example, f2.8 allows twice as much light into the camera as f4. Aperture also affects the depth of field. The larger the aperture opening, the shallower the depth of field. The smaller the opening, the deeper the depth of field. ISO is simply how sensitive your camera's sensor is to light. This is expressed in a number. The higher the ISO number, the more sensitive your camera will be to light. As you change your shutter speed, aperture, and ISO settings, you'll want to watch out for your photo becoming overexposed or underexposed. Remember, overexposure happens when the camera sensor is exposed to too much light. This causes the photograph to lose highlight detail as the bright parts become washed out. And underexposure happens when the camera sensor is not exposed to enough light. As a result, the photograph loses shadow detail and the dark parts are almost all black.